Alright guys, France just beaten Denmark by 2 goals to 1 in a game where France wins really at their best, to be honest. But they still were the better side, let's be completely honest. Denmark, they made a lot of changes to the team that started against Tunisia. They dropped Dolberg, and brought in Cornelius. Also made a change in the back three, they took off Simon Kjaer out and brought in a young lad to play on the left side of three. I think it was Nelson. I think Nielsen. I think it was, and they just a bit of a change around the squad as well. Skov Olsen came out as well. Damsgaard came in. So there were, I think, 3 changes to their starting 11. And they never really got going first half, Denmark. And I think they were quite lucky not to be down to 10 men at half time, because Christensen is struggling to deal with Mbappe, and Mbappe running through, probably clean through on goal with the amount of pace that he's got. That's why Christensen feels the need to bring him down. And he is lucky to get away with a yellow. It's one of them where I can see why the referee's given a yellow card, but I also think if he had given a red card, I don't think it's it would be a clear error. So I think he has slightly gotten away with one there, Andreas Christensen. But yeah, France, they were attacking first off, but there were never many occasions where they were just overloading the attack. There were chances, and Kasper Schmeichel, in fairness to him, was forced into a few saves. And Schmeichel always seems to perform for Denmark at big tournaments. That goes for both of them, actually. I mean, Peter Schmeichel won the Euros in 1992, so yeah, it's something in the name, isn't it? But yeah, Schmeichel, great, he made some great saves, and I was impressed with quite a few of France's players in the first half, to be fair. I thought Griezmann had another solid performance in midfield, and I really like him in this midfield role. He's had a few years where his career's sort of drifted, if that makes sense, since that move to Barcelona. Well, he wasn't a complete flop at Barcelona, but showed nothing like the form he had at Atletico Madrid in the 4 or 5 years he was playing under Diego Simeone. But ever since he's moved into this midfield role, and I think he has played it recently at club level as well for Atletico, and Atletico's form, despite being knocked out of Europe completely, that their form has picked up a slight bit in La Liga towards the last few weeks before the break. And it seems to suit him a lot more, because he doesn't have the pace he once had. He's been suffering with injuries, but he still obviously has the technical abilities, and he's always never really been an out-and-out striker. He's always been a creator as well as a goal scorer. So although he's obviously going to score less goals in this role, it does allow him to excel at another one of his excellent abilities, if that makes sense, to create. And yeah, played well once again, like he did against Australia. Mbappe and Dembele were causing problems. Mbappe in particular, I mean, he got both the goals for France in the second half. Dembele, I've never seen a player as two-footed as him, who's like a winger. Like, obviously, there's footballers who are two-footed. Santi Cazorla's the one that comes to mind for me, because I grew up watching the Premier League. But it's very rare you see a winger as quick, as good at like on the ball as he is, at beating a man that is like left-footed and right-footed and can go either way and is just as good. So I mean, that's a threat. And the sad thing about Dembele is he's in his mid-20s now. I think he's 25 or 26, and we've never really seen him reach his peak, or reach what could have been his peak, purely because of he cannot catch a break with injuries at all. Pretty much ever since his move to Barcelona, like, he's shown that this year has probably been the outstanding year of his career, as well as that breakthrough season he had at Borussia Dortmund in 2016-17, I want to say. he's also had his moments throughout the past 5 years at Barcelona, but this calendar year in 2022, it just feels like he's managed to stay fit and he's putting like good performance after good performance. I remember some of his numbers towards the end of last season, particularly in terms of creating goals, were insane. So yeah, again, another player who's playing well for France at the minute. And France themselves, they made a few changes to their starting 11, taking Konate and Pavard out and bringing in Koundé to play right back and Varane at centre back. Varane did get replaced by Konate because he isn't yet 100% fit. But I just don't see the point in. Obviously, I'm going to be slightly biased because I like Konate, I'm a Liverpool fan. But I just think Konate performed well against Australia. Pavard, I don't think, did perform well against Australia. He was the weak link in the France defence in that game. I thought anyway. Like he didn't track. Who was it who scored for Australia? It'll come to me in a minute. But he didn't track his man for the Australia goal. So he was the one who was making the errors in that game for France. So I can understand him being replaced, but Konate I felt was a little bit harsh. But yeah, but on to the goals. Mbappe took the lead for France and scored the opener. Good goal. Not a lot more needs to be said really. Really nice too with 1-2 with Theo Hernandez. And I think I don't want to sound horrible here, but I think Lucas Hernandez being replaced by Theo Hernandez in starting 11 because of his injury might actually be a blessing in disguise for France, because I do think Theo Hernandez is the better player and also the better player going forward as well. Lucas Hernandez is a good defender, but I think Theo going forward especially, he can get link up with Mbappe really well for one. He showed in this game. And he also is capable to get back as well and help out the defence. So I think that might actually help France in the latter stages of this tournament when they do come up against teams which they do struggle to break down. But yeah, Denmark responded well. They created chances of their own. They had a good 5-10 minute period where it was one-way traffic really. France were struggling a little bit to maintain the lead, and they did manage to get the equaliser through Andreas Christensen, who I've already said I felt is slightly fortunate to still be on the pitch. It was a well taken goal, flick on from a corner, which he headed with a lot of power into the centre of the net and equalised. But yeah. Then Denmark sort of thought, right, we'll get back a little bit here, but they still pushed some men forwards, and he even created one or two chances after they had equalised. But that after a few minutes or so, then I think it got to the 80th minute mark, and they just thought, right, we'll just keep what we have and try and win the final game against Australia, and that should see us through. But France, they have got a sort of cheat code up their sleeve, and that is Kylian Mbappe once again. And the pace he uses to get round his man at the back post, I think it might have been Christensen, I think, who thought he had him marked, and the cross comes in. I think it might have been Griezmann who whipped it in, or possibly Rabiot. It was from the right hand side. Mbappe sneaks right. No, it would have been a right footer, wouldn't it? Because it curls round. So it could have been Dembele actually. But yeah, it curls round. Mbappe just sort of bundles it in. In fact, it wasn't. It was different to the chance that Cornelius had against Tunisia, but in terms of how Mbappe finished it, he just bundled it in. Cornelius he tried to get a perfect header on it and didn't get enough contact, and that potentially cost Denmark 2 points against Tunisia in the last game. So yeah, Mbappe did the right thing in just trying to get any part of his body on it and get it into the net. France had a good chance to make it 3-1 as well. Mbappe got in behind, decided to take it on the volley, probably the bad decision, purely because Marcus Thuram, who'd come off the bench for Giroud, was an option to the right, and it was highly unlikely Mbappe was going to score. If he'd have given it to Thuram, there would probably be a good chance that he would score. So the wrong decision, but I can understand why Mbappe did it. I mean, he's on a hat-trick, isn't he? And it was in the dying moments of the game. But yeah, France once again got the job done and played all right, but not at their best. And that they have probably got to be one of the favourites to win this, because before the tournament, because of their form in the Nations League, I think Denmark were even in their group in that, and I think they might have lost to Denmark. Because of their form in that, people thought, this France team, it looks a little bit disjointed at the moment, but Deschamps has once again proven that he can get this France team playing, and I mean, it's not like a massive achievement for Deschamps, because the amount of talent that is in this team, you should get a tune out of them, but yeah, they are playing really well at the moment and are going to be one of the favourites to win it, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.